Stay there. Good. Okay, we're holding over here, Sibis. We're not going to get this given Sikumi. Also, that video coming. Whoever needs a summary can look at the video. Good. So basically, the Rebbe brought over the Medrash that the Friedrich brings in the beginning of the Basi Legani Tashin Yud, which says that Ikesh Shechina B'Tachtenim Haisus. Since the pasuk uses the lashon Legabi, Matan Torah, the pasuk uses the lashon Legani. So the Medrash is medayik that the fact that whatever happened was accomplished Matan Torah, that wasn't the first time. The fact that the Eibusher came to the world was Nizgal in Elam Hazeh, B'Tachtenim. The fact that the Eibusher came B'Tachtenim, Matan Torah wasn't the first time, but in the Mishkan wasn't the first time. This happened earlier. Ikri Batchila. When the world was first created, so Ikesh Shechina B'Tachtenim Haisus. So the Rebbe explained the first sieve. The Rebbe was explaining what's this lash. What does it mean? Ikesh Shechina. The Rebbe says many dargas and Shechina. Shechina means usually the Chazal Shechina means that it means Malchus. The Eibush Shechina B'Slabish Ba'elamis, which in which darga is the Eibush literally Shechina B'Slabish Ba'elamis and spares Malchus, and then there is Malchus on different madregas, and the ultimate the Ikar Primis of Shechina. That means where is Meir? The Primis of the whole idea of the Eibush being Shechina B'Slabish Ba'elamis. That's lifnei at Tzimtzum, and that's madrega. Ikesh Shechina, that madrega was Meir in the Welt in Tachteinim B'Tchilas Habriya. The Rebbe was involved. Not only the Rebbe has a chreichem for this from the lashon of Ikesh Shechina, but the Rebbe explains that mitzad the madrega of Malchus, the way it is in Seder Shtalshalos, inside the area of Seder Shtalshalos. So they say that mitzad Seder Shtalshalos, Tachteinim is the lowest level. So mitzad Seder Shtalshalos, where is Meir higher madregas of Elikus? Dafkin Elam Masalayenim, that's where Elikus is Meir more begilit. Elam Hazin Tachteinim is a place where there's lesser kelim for Elikus, so only the lower levels of Elikus is Meir in Tachteinim. Dafkin inside the area of Lifnetz, since the area the way it is higher than Elam, is higher than the system, higher than the Agbalas of Shtalshul. Mitzad that area, there's no limitations where it could be Sheikh and Mislavish, where it could be Meir. And mitzad that area, where was this area? Where's the kavanah of the Etzem Kaviyach? Where's the Eibusher's kavanah is Dafkin Elam Hazat, which we're going to see in the Hemshech HaMayim. But that was the Rebbe explained in the first sieve. What's the lashon Ikesh Shechina? Here the Rebbe goes second prat. He says like this. Zed Ikesh Shechina. The Medrash says, where was Ikesh Shechina? B'Tachtenim. Now, what does the word Tachtenim mean? So we're learning in Chassidus. Mir verstehen sehr gut. Tachtenim means Elam Hazeh, but in Chassidus, Tachtenim could mean even Elam Asayena. I mean, Elam Abriya is Tachtenim legabe Atzilis, or Elam Aitzir is Tachtenim legabe Briya. Who said Tachtenim means our physical world? I mean, you have to bring Reis. Means the initial understanding is that Tachtenim maybe means it's a relative level. Legabe Erd itself, maybe Adam Kadmon is called a Tach. So this is the reason. He says Zed Ikesh Shechina B'Tachtenim is the fact that the Tchilas Habriya. Where was the Ikar of Elikus? Was B'Tachtenim Vur Ma Medrash stood from Medrash. B'Tachtenim Kailam Hazagashim. Zok Tachtenim meant this physical world. It means this has to be said. It's not like said Tachtenim. Where else could Tachtenim mean? No, Tachtenim could mean a relative place. Tachtenim could mean Tachtenim L'Umas Elikus. And that the Rebbe says no. That means Rayis. That when the Medrash says Tachtenim, it means Elam Hazagashim, this physical world. So he brings a raya because in Medrash state Mishum Avayir da Dichet this is Sagash Shechina Meres L'Rekia. In Medrash Jarton Zakter that Ikesh Shechina B'Tachtenim is, and then through Chet Tzadas the Eibusher left Elam Hazeh Me'aretz. So there says where the Chet Tzadas happened in this physical world. It didn't happen in Elam Asiyah or Ruchnis. Didn't happen in Elam Aitzira. Chet Tzadas happened in this physical world. So the fact that the Medrash says that in relation to the Ikesh Shechina B'Tachtenim, that who was Masalik Adam Rishon Me'aretz L'Rekia. Verstehen that Tachtenim means Elam Hazagash. Nacharaya, he says, "V'adei Matan Torah al Harsini Basi Legani the Gnuni." Where did the Matan Torah take place? And the Medrash says the Matan Torah he came back to his original place. Where did David came back to Matan Torah? He came back to Elam Hazagash. That's a right. And the Medrash says Ikesh Shechina B'Tachtenim. Tachtenim means this physical world. Good. That's one point. The Rebbe says. Now the Rebbe starts explaining another point. It says like this. The Rebbe says that the main departure, the fact that Elikus, we'll see what there's two aspects of what the Rebbe says. He says, but the main departure happened through Chet Tzadas. So the Medrash says, the Rebbe didn't quote the whole Hemshech Medrash, but the Rebbe is right away going into it. Even without quoting the Medrash, but the Rebbe goes into there. The Medrash says, Ikesh Shechina B'Tachtenim Ha'isa. So if Ikesh Shechina, when the world was first created, Ikesh Shechina was here, what happened? Why did it have to come back? The Medrash says that through Chet Tzadas, you're Masalik the Shechina Me'aretz L'Rekia. Then the Chet of Kayin is Masalik from Rekia L'Rekia. And then it goes through a couple of Chataim, 7 generations, you're Masalik the Shechina further and further, till the Rekia Shvi, and then came Tzadikim, Avram Avinu started bringing it down, and Ad Avram Hischalahai, brought it down from one Rekia to another Rekia, then Yitzchak, then Yaakov, so Moshe Rabbeinu brought it down Lamata. So the Rebbe wants to say over here that even though from the simple lashon of the Medrash it would seem like there was 7 levels, 7 stages in the Siluk. So left Elam Hazeh, but Ikesh Shechina existed Chveis Nasiyah Ruchnis. And then the next chet pushed it even further. The next chet pushed it even further. And then slowly was brought down. That wants to say that once it left Elam Hazeh, it was already, the departure happened already. The Ikar HaSiluk took place. Whatever happened afterwards was already a result. We'll see why it's neged. We'll see later why it's neged, and what we'll see what the Rebbe is saying here also. He says Ikar HaSiluk shnasa de'achet v'chet yitzadaz. So there's a word like we see. But the same way when it comes to the concept of sin itself. The concept of sin, the Rebbe says Ikar HaChatayim v'chet yitzadaz. The main sin was chet yitzadaz. It's not like the way we understand it is that there's many sins. Who was the first one that sinned was Adam Rishon. That's not the first one. The main sin was Adam Rishon, was chet yitzadaz. That was the main chet. All the chataim that was done after is a result of his chet. As Rabbi says, that doesn't explain it over here. It says, very stark lashon. Let me just bring out in this way. You say that the Chassidus brings a mashal always. Rashi brings that after Yidden left Mitzrayim, so everybody, all the goyim were scared. All the Umas Elam were scared about Yidden. No one was happy that Yidden left Shiur, and they were matmerigat. Even though everybody was petrified, and no one wanted the Yidden's success. The people, the Umas Elam were scared to fight against Yidden. Matmerigat. Amalek was the first one that fought against Yidden. So once he did it, so he broke the ice. In the mashal, someone boiling hot mikveh. People are scared to go in. Once one person jumps in, so he already takes away the fear. And people see that one person did it, even though he got burnt, but one person did it, it gives them the courage to do it also. So that's a basic thing.
Where do you see that most?
I think Rashi brings it, no?
Rashi.
Huh?
Rashi, Medrash.
Yeah. No, stay. This.
Rashi steht übrigens in der Medrash.
This doesn't say
Ambatya, Chamer Ritachas, Ambatya Ritachas. Good. Good. Just good back upon him, but so that is that no one sinned before. Imagine you're in office and no one ever did against the boss. One guy comes late, even if you got a big punishment, the one guy came late. So the idea of coming late is already established over here. So the next guy, so you got a punishment. But the idea of coming late is not a gefrekte Zach anymore. It happened once. So Adam Rishon had gemacht achet. Before his chet, the Eibush had beschaffen the world. Everybody knew that God created the universe. No one sinned to go against the will of the Creator. They didn't. Once Adam Rishon sinned, so that already, as Rebbe's lashon over here, given us in asmakim to Shara Chatayim. Means it was already. He made it easier to talk. But the Rebbe says even more. She was an active siba. It was a cause to the other chatayim. But siba v'geirim the chatayim kaim. It's a more starker word. That's like it explains the Chassidus that before Chet Tzadas, the Madra Klippus was nivdal from the Madra Kedusha. There wasn't the ability to sin didn't exist yet. Adam Rishon brought the Yetzer Hara. He integrated the Ra into the world. He made a change that the Ra became integrated. Once the Ra is integrated, and the person is Yetzer Hara is apparent in everything that he does. So then the idea of Chet is already it's kind of anders. It's already a result. So the first one that really sinned, the Rebbe saying, unsere Chatayim were not major. Our Chatayim are not original. He says we're not the first one that be'emes had gezindik was Adam Rishon. Once he did the Chet, so he brought the Yetzer Hara already into his Ma'arif Tevera. Once he's Ma'arif Tevera, so the other Chatayim already come as a result. Before Chet Das, it says that the Tchum of Ra was moved from the Tchum of Tev. There was a detachment between Ra and Tev. Adam Rishon was Ma'arif then. Yeah, Rishon's on the Rebbe doesn't go into the Rebbe, just as the fact. Huh? Also good, yeah. Also, Rebbe doesn't say that here, but yeah. So wants to be maskish my love my should. Okay, we'll see in a minute. But the one wants to be out of here. The Chet Das was a primary Chet. Not only it was the first one, but everything else was really a result of his Chet. All the other Chatayim were a Titzah. Once a person has the Yetzer Hara, it's a chiddush that he has a zindik. He has Yetzer Hara, zindik there. Who brought the Yetzer? Who gave the Yetzer Hara its power? Who brought him into the picture, and who gave him its kayach? That's what Adam Rishon gave the Yetzer Hara its power. So the real chet is number Adam Rishon. Everybody is the chetayim that we're doing after is already an outcome. Good. So I want to say very the same way when you get to the chet itself. The Iker chet was Adam Rishon's. Al derech they speak about the effect that the chet accomplished. The pu'ulas chet. So the same thing comes to pu'ulas chet. Asiluk shenasa adei chet in the Iker asidik mashal sadik adei chet stas milam hazat tachtim. There's like this. The Iker Asiluk, what was the effect of chet that the Eibishter left this world? The Iker Asiluk was that he was installed from Elam Hazah. He says like this: the Shem Sheikar Shchem Atayna Meisa, who by Elam Hazah dafke, in the Kamek in Basiluk Iker Asiluk Mashal installed from Elam Hazah. Rebbe says a very stark word. You say that You say something has to be, in order for this thing to stay fresh, it has to be in the freezer. Or it has to be in the fridge. It's going to leave its places in the fridge, or a safer's places on the shelf. So now it's not on the shelf, it's on the table. So you have a table that's near the shelf, you have a chair that's even further, it could be taken out of that building, it took it to a different building. In one aspect, once it's not on the shelf, it's misplaced already. The difference is if it's on the table or it's out of the building or somewhere else, that's all technical differences, how fast it's going to take to bring it back to the table, to the shelf. But it's not in its place. It's not in its primary place. Because Ikar Shechina's place, Ikar Shechina doesn't have 10 places. Ikar Shechina's place, where does the rest is in Elam Hazatach, in Tachtayim Meis. That's where in Elam Hasayim, Ikar Shechina is not present in Elam Hasayim. It's not Begali in Elam Hasayim. Ikar Shechina's designated place, his dir is Elam Hazatach. If he's not in Elam Hazah, he has no place. The difference is in this Rakir, that Rakir, that's all how easy it is going to be to bring him back. It's not that he's not in this place, he's in a different place. It's not he's in a different place. He's misplaced now. He's not in his place where he's supposed to be. So the Ikar Asilik was once he was taken away from Elam Hazah, Ikar Shechina hat Platz. Ikar Shechina has no dira. He has no home. Now, if he has no home, how far is he from his house? Is he on the bench outside of his house, or he's in? He left miles away. That's not the Mahusa Inyan. Once he's misplaced, so then he can take him further. In this place, that place, he's misplaced already. But the main siluk is that he has no home anymore. That's when he took him away from Elam Hazah. That's what they were saying. Says Ikar Shechina v'Tachtanim Elam Hazah Dafka. Same. Where does Ikar Shechina rest? Where's his dir? Where's his list? In Elam Hazah Dafka. In the Kmekin Basiluk. Ikar Asilik one should talk about Dafka. Means, but the Medrash itself says that, but he was still in the Rekia Aleph. Kain Vanish moved into the Rekia base. That's technical differences already. Once he has no home, so you're pushing him away further from Elam Hazah. But that's not where the main siluk is, that he has no home anymore. That he's not in his place. That's the main siluk. That's what we're saying over here. It's not an essential thing that he exists in the first Rekia or the second Rekia. Because Legabe him, once he's not in Elam Hazah, he has no dira. The second case, the only case, is Nafkiminis. It's Nafkiminis only how fast it's going to be to bring him back to Elam Hazah Kapiyot. But it's not an essential factor. Says Lafiza. The Rebbe says all really Agdam. It doesn't get to be. The Rebbe wants to say a second point based on this. So the Rebbe says that therefore we can understand why. Look at the Friedrich Rebbe's Maimer. The Friedrich Rebbe's Maimer. So he's quoting the Medrash, but he quotes the Medrash. He says that there was Chet Etzadas, and then there's what's the lashon? There's lashon Tafshin Yud. But he doesn't just say that Ikar Shechina v'Tachtanim Meis, and then there was different Chatayim, and to list up all the Chatayim. Other missions Chet, stage number 1 from Aris L'Rekia. Then the Chet of Kain V'Enish Rekia base. Figure says that it was Nistaka Shechina Aris L'Rekia. I de Chet Etzadas. As if Chet Etzadas made the siluk, and then he said as a separate topic that then Rekia L'Rekia there was other Chatayim. He doesn't say that through sins the Shechina was Nistalik. There was many stages in the departure. First was Adam, second was Cain. He makes it as a separate. Adam Rishon made the siluk, he made the departure, and then he finishes a topic, and then he lists off the other chatan. There's masber according to what he explained till now. Why the Friedrich Rebbe is mechalik. Any mitzvah of a chet is das mechatan Cain vanish. It's das gives a chshivus for itself. He counts it itself, and the other chatan from Cain vanish and on, he puts them in one list. Why? The Cain vanish nisaka shchenvaris mirakia l'rekia. So there's no. It's not an essential thing. That's once he's not in Elam Hazah, the person that has no home. Now, if he's on a bench or he's on this bench or that bench, that's irrelevant. The one that took him out of the house. That's an essential thing. You can say that someone he was kicked out of his house. This guy took him out of the house, and that guy pushed him from one bench to the next bench. You can't compare the activities of these two. The one that took him out of the house, he did the bomb over here. He took him out of his place. From one mission to the he's temporarily here. He moved into the next place. That's not a. Oh, so now the Rebbe adds another point. Till now the Rebbe was saying, why is if you Rebbe count separately, independently? The fact that Adam Rishon was Masalik in Aras L'Rekia is because the most important factor, the most important departures from Elam Hazeh, Adam like the Rebbe Tzun Nachavar. Why is the example the Rebbe says? Why does the Friedrich Rebbe count separately the fact that Adam Rishon was Masalik in Aras L'Rekia, and he divides it, makes it a separate Indian than Rekia L'Rekia. It's like this. So the Rebbe says as our word. Shlevad zeis shasilik me'aretz and ikar negei alonu. You can push the word. It says levad zeis because this silik me'aretz, that's what's relevant to us. So you can push the word. The Rebbe is saying here, why the Friedrich? I mean, the Rebbe is asking Michal in a mime. Why? I don't know how the lashon is in Medrash, but in the mime the Rebbe is saying it sounds like in the Medrash is different. So I don't look this up now, but in the Medrash she counts everything in one shot. And then through 7, 8 Chataim was 7 Chataim was Nesalik Maris L'Rekia, but the Friedrich is Nechalik. First, he makes in the Maimer the fact that Adam Rishon was Masalik et Mechemia Aras L'Rekia, and then as a separate thing he goes through the rest of the 6 Chataim. The Rebbe says why? Why is he Mischalik? So the Eshte Zach is Levad Zayis because that's the Ikar Negeh Alon. What's Negeh to Umir Levin Da Abdervel. What's Negeh to us is a fact that Elokus is not married in Elam Hazeh. The fact that Elokus is married in Elam Asal Yenim and Rekia, that's not relevant to us. So the Rebbe's Friedrich was writing a Maimer. This is what's important to us to know. The Chagav is telling you that you should know that there's also a continuation to the story, but that's not what's relevant to us. It's not a regular word in a Maimer. Usually we're regular that Chassidus says Chama Madregas and the Maila and Elam Asal Yenim. But the Rebbe is saying is a sabir. The Rebbe is not saying is the Chagav. The fact that the Friedrich Rebbe was made the Chetitz Adas. The Tziddik Maris L'Rekia B'fnei Atzmi is because the Tziddik Me'ares, that's what's Negeh. That's the Ikr what's relevant to us. The other things is not, that's not relevant to us. The Tutzach and Elam Asal Yenim is not it's not our topic. It's not our business.
You don't feel it as much.
But it's never seen. That's it's nicht Negeh zu uns. This is the Lashon the Rebbe says. It's nicht unsere Sach. The Rebbe is being masber. Why in a mime? It's a beer. Why in a mime? The Friedrich Rebbe puts more emphasis on the fact that happened here, because what happens here, that's what we're dealing with. It's nicht because we're not margish it. It sounds like that's what's Negeh. So he makes a point that if you say when you emphasize something to someone, we're giving you a lot of information. Then what I want you to leave with, what's Negeh for you to remember? Fika makes a separate issue. You should know that what happened then was almost saying there's things that happened over the other Chatayim. But what's relevant to you, remember that Elam Hazeh Lukus is not made. You see what? This is Kapash the word.
What's the word punishing people here by moving the
good, but that's all. The kid is all how hard is it going to bring you back to Elam Hazeh? Good. Well, the Rebbe says so here the Rebbe is speaking in the Kav of Siluk, but the Rebbe wants to really bring out these same points, but you get to being mamshit l'shchina b'mayla. That's what the Rebbe. But this is we'll see. The Rebbe says this part again. This is really what the Rebbe wants to get to. This part of neget to the chiyuv. This is also neget to the Rebbe speaks this in the Medrash. Then in Sefer Gimel he goes to the Rebbe clearly speaks about the Wumir halten of the world. The Shvi from the Alter. We'll see. So this mamshit b'mayla. After he goes through the 7 Chataim, he says, Avram Zacha is quoting the Medrash. Avram Zacha here's the Shechina Amerikia Zayin Levav Chulu. And again, the Friedrich Rebbe doesn't quote the entire Medrash. Mekatzer b'Zeh Masayim. Instead of going through the whole list of tzaddikim, again, the same way when they get to Chataim. The Friedrich Rebbe makes a tzimis out of the chet of the way Adam Rishon's chet. Kain did a much bigger chet than Adam Rishon. Kain killed his brother. I mean, it's not a pashta chet. Adam Rishon, he drank a little wine before his man, but Adam Rishon kind of a very severe chet. But the figure makes a big tzimis out of Adam Rishon's chet, and everybody else's chet comes. Al-Tazman speaks about being mamshit l'shchina ma'alamata. He mentions Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. These people all did great things. Katzer b'zeh Masayim. At ki Moshe shu hashvi v'chol hashvi chavivin v'rid l'mata haaretz. So Moshe Rabbeinu came, and the figure adds in the brackets v'chol hashvi chavivin. All the 7th are chavivin. V'rid l'mata haaretz. Oh, so the Rebbe is being masber the same way we said when you get to the Silu, that the Iker Zach is being the fact that the departure the artists. Iker Shechina's place is Elam Hazeh. If it's not Elam Hazeh, is misplaced. So there's a being mamshech. Who gave Iker Shechina? Who brought him back to home? So this Avram Avinu brought him from one bench to another bench, from one bench to another. Who brought him back home? Moshe Rabbeinu brought him back home. Says Iker in am Shachwa de Moshe. Who better uvgetan that Iker Shechina should have a place where it's Meir? It's Moshe Rabbeinu. Why should Moshe have Kerid Elam Matabaret? It's Hashem should be in Nasilu. How the Iker b'chet is talking about its canal. We explained earlier that the main tziddik is from Elam Hazeh. Can you make him in Nam Shachal? Iker in Nam Shachal Matabar is that. But the same cheshbon made before Neget Echet. And now the Rebbe says the same thing again. Why is he making a big tzimis out of Moshe Rabbeinu? Says Levad ze Sham Shachal Mata the Iker Negei Alona. What's relevant to us is whether the Kuz is Minirgash Elam Hazeh. We're living here. We're Gashmizik people. We're not lofty human beings connected to Elam Masayenu. So what's relevant to us is Elokus Meir Elam Hazeh or not. That's what's Neget Sons. The fact that Avram Avinu was mamshech lekus from Rakia to Rakia. What does that have to do? I don't know what's going on in Rakia. So the Rebbe says, what's different? The Fikar is not Meidach. What Avram Avinu did, what Yitzchak did, what Yaakov did, because this is nicht in Yad trying to get to us. Ain't Moshe Rabbeinu lekus back to Elam Hazeh. Does Neget Sons. So the Neis of that's going to get us. He nizal gam ikir in amshar. Till Moshe until Elam has the ikar shchina has no direct. He has no place. Verat uketan that ikar shchina should have a place is not for Moshe. So nasa de Moshe that. Oh, now order now. So we have Avram Avinu was mamshad shchina Amerika Zayin Levav. Each Moshe Rabbeinu brought Lamata Baris. Now the Fiat Rebbe has to explain when he mentions that Avram Avinu was mamshad shchina Lamata. Doesn't say a reason. He says Avram Zacha has shchina Amerika Zayin Levav. When he says that Moshe Rabbeinu was mamshad shchina Lamata Baris, he gives a little praise. He gives a little. Most Moshe Rabbeinu is greatness. Why does he have to? It says Vatamlas. He has to explain. How does Moshe Rabbeinu have the ability to bring the Shechina Mata Ba'aretz? Means bringing Shechina Mata Ba'aretz is not another stage. It's not Avram to one point to point number two. Yitzchak another point. Moshe Rabbeinu came at the third stage. Moshe Rabbeinu at Ketana made it to uftu. He was brought. Bringing Shechina Mata Ba'aretz is a new uftu. Punkt as even get to the Siluk. Adam Nishan was the one that he took him out of the house. That's the hardest thing to do, the biggest thing that everything else just a result. Once he's misplaced, he has no home, he has no anchor. Take it from one bench to the place, say the place, Avram Avinu was not one kid, another kid. Bringing him Lamata Ba'aretz is a whole different type of ufta. And there you need a reason. How is he able to do it? So if he goes in variable mimer, but Musge says the mimer in brackets, Moshe needs a reason. If he was not stop saying, why not? He mentioned Shvi. We'll give him a line. We'll mention another Maimer Chazal. That's his Kol Hashvin Chavim. The Rebbe is saying because Moshe Rabbeinu's uftu is such a essential uftu, it's such a chiddush that you have to explain via this can't uftu.
How does that explain it?
We're going to see it. That's what the Rebbe starts explaining now. That's Siv Gimel. This Siv Gimel, you know that when the Rebbe said the Maimer the first time, the Rebbe didn't say the Maimer one shot. The Rebbe said the Maimer. The first three sifim were said first, and then there was a niggin, and then there was I think some Chiano also. But then there was another 3 parts. The Maimer said. This is Gimel. This is im Hatach Zeit, yeah. Yeah, what's it say? Hini Lashon as Avach Lashvin Chaviv. The Rebbe goes going through what's the pshat Kol Hashvin Chaviv. Lashon as Avach Lashvin Chaviv. And here the Rebbe goes into when he gets to the Alter Rebbe also. Yeah, a bit so später. Good. In the Lashon as Avach Lashvin Chaviv and Lei Kol Chaviv in Shvin. Muchav is doesn't. The Lashon is Lei Kol Chaviv in Shvin. The Lashon is Kol Hashvin Chaviv. So Muchav is Shikra Mailu is Eshu Shvin. If the word was, if the it goes like this, Shvi, we're dealing with in this context. So Shvi is a certain job, it's a meridic job. Shvi is being Shechinah Lameres, Vav Rakim and Aretz. So Shvi is the one bringing it down the Aretz. So who could do this major job? You have to be a unique person. So if that was the pshat, so Lashon should have been Kol HaChaviv in Shvi. So who could be Shvi? Who could do this major accomplishment of bringing him down to this world? Only a chaviv, only someone that has some major quality. He could be the shvi to bring him down the Mata Baris. But that's not what it says in the Chazal. The Chazal don't say that whoever's a chaviv, whoever has a unique quality, he could be a shvi. The Chazal is if you're the shvi, you're chaviv. If you got this job, you're chaviv. The shvi fakir because you're chaviv, you got this job. You don't say because you got this job, you must have a. That's what we say. Because you got that's a idea. But because you got this job, the job gives you the qualities. Really, the job gives you the qualities. Because I have major qualities, I got this position. You don't get your position. Don't give you the qualities. Lashon Chazal is called shvi and chaviv. What does it mean? Mucham is ikra ma'ilo zashu shvi. When is zashu shvi, it's zayu chaviv vos. Hainu. Was will the Rabbi is doing then? Shechaviv vos einu setin natali b'chirasir letin avidas. The chaviv of the shvi is not an ini which could come. It's not to do. It's certain things a person can accomplish with his avodah. Certain things you accomplish if you have a will for it. Certain things a person could choose to get to. Certain things that are beyond choice. Certain things that a person you cannot accomplish them. It's not the pshat. Many things in a person you didn't choose where you're going to grow up. You never chose that. But that's not an idea that's beyond. They're saying certain levels of Avodas Hashem or certain inyanim, a person through Yigia Gdeila, through Aveda, through Ratzim and Chera could get to on his own. Avram Avinu at Kaharavit. And he wanted to be Mefarsim Malakus. He had a major Ratzin Mefarsim Malakus. That Ratzin and that Aveda brought him to the extent that he accomplished major things. Moshe Rabbeinu had nothing to do with his Ratzin. He never had the Ratzin take Yidin. It's not that he had this major will to redeem Yidin, and therefore he had the ability. He had the major in it to do Matan Torah, and therefore he was able to do it. The idea to bring the Shechina Mata Ba'aretz is not a virtue they could get to through Aveda. It's not totally in your Pchina, not totally in your Ratzin. It could only come a mile. Kim bezashu shvi she's above mitzad tolda. Yes, that's all. Mitzad tolda. Oh, because then Nikol Hashvin Chavim. Yes, nicht klar. They follow the lashon. It comes inside the tolda. Because then Nikol Hashvin Chavim. Yeah, it's a little bit not so clear, but it sounds like it comes on Milo. That's what we're saying over here. It's something which it's beyond the person's Aveda. To be able to bring Eid and Saf Lamata, to be able to connect Atmos to this world, that's it's not something that the Nivra with his Aveda and Yigia, it comes beyond Aveda. But the Rebbe is saying it in a certain sign of Anivus, like it happens to be born in the 7th generation, so he has it. But that's the Anivus. It doesn't come inside a certain accomplishment, a certain level, and it's not that if you're such a great Mitzias, you're going to reach that level. It has nothing to do with being a big Ovid. It's a kayach which comes. It's beyond the reach of you. It comes from the Eibishter. Fakert the shvi that he needs a tchuna of bittul. Is that it's something which he can't accomplish. Yeah. Oh, it says like this. Now this is one point that Rebbe says. So from this point comes out that it has something to do with his aveda, not to do with his ratz, with his bchira. It comes from Maila, and if you're born shvi, you have these qualities. It has something to do with the.
But Shvi in this case, we understand what Shvi is, but in other words,
Moshe Rabbeinu was born the 7th
was
also.
born the 7th, but so in other words, what Shvi in general has this quality. Shvi
No,
of what?
shvi when we're dealing with this. You have someone that's the 7th in his family. Good, that's not a level of 7th. I'm saying we're dealing with. There's a stage of being a lakus of the world which is called shvi. It's apitayra. There's a musig of shvi in Torah. That means it's Indian is to being a lakus. There's 5, 6 rakim and eretz. The one that has the quality of being a shechina al matabaris, right? Someone that's in a line of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Apitayra 7. This shvi this time is a 7th shir. That's the Indian of 7. Apitayra. Everything comes from Maila. If he was the 7th, you're born in the 7th generation. It's Maila, you're given a kayak, which is don't do with your ruts and pchir or aved. Yeah, call it shmi chavivus. It's a special chavivus. That's the bar that if you're born the shvi has a chavivus. I mean, Moshe Rabbeinu was born the smala bayis kula era.
It says call shvi. What is he? What
I was trying to say that it's not.
That's from what? That's from the same medrash that discusses.
No, it's a different medrash.
So what is that referring to there?
That's the MS says I think it lists different shviim, but it's a shvi which are shviim in a line of all to do with Torah and Kedush. It's Vayikra Rabbi Perikhatas. You have a medrash Rabbi here. You can see it, but we don't. But the point of it, Rebbe says, because but there's a chavivus. It means Moshe Rabbeinu was born as Mala Bayis Kula Eira. He had something unique that Avraham Avinu didn't have, but this uniqueness didn't come from that kahar of it. Mamaila, it's animal Mamaila that he had. Fakir, the Rebbe, you have to be aware of the fact that the Kaviyachol, it's not that's in the Kodah Bittul, which in the Kodah Bittul Avraham Avinu didn't have Kaviyachol. Avraham Avinu came to this level, he acquired the level. So it came as a result of his Yigiyah. This Bittul that I have something to do with my Aveda Yigiyah. That's as Nukodah Bittul that Dafka the Shvi has. No. I'm saying that he had a Maila over Avraham Avinu. But as the Gwem Mitzvah told him, the Shvi. Good, that's later. That's the Rebbe says later. I feel as that's the Rebbe says in the Yirol Lepel to it's like this.
Has to do with Betzim, it's on the Chedesh Hashvi, it's on Rosh Hashanah, and so it's the Chedesh Hashvi, Kol Shmei Chaviv.
Good, you're Misagmet Torah. Okay.
No, I'm telling you from the Medrash.
Good, I'm saying this Misagmet Torah. Oh, sagt er also. Oh, now it says like this. This is also a Medrash. It says beer. Here the Rebbe finished saying it. Now the Rebbe is saying good.
Also other thing.
In Kedusha or not in Kedusha?
David was the 7th kid.
This says in Tanakh.
The Banim Hashvi Chaviv, the Malachim Hashvi Chaviv, Shaul Spaces.
Okay, but this is all
whole bunch of awesome numbers.
Torah relates them to 7.
The Shanim, Beyamim, Bechadashim, some Baratzis.
Go within this line, Kaplan. Okay, maybe every 7th is I'm saying could be Kolshim is Kolashvim, but the Kaplan we can them that's a so here the Torah there comes on Maila, but now what type of Veda is needed? So you got something on Maila. Now let's say you have a special case since you're born in Shvi, okay, on Maila. What's the Veda which is demanded from you? The fact that Imam Shechina Lamata, that comes on Maila. But what type of Veda is needed? Epistap from the sun. You can't just get up Sakeh on Maila and then you're going to go to sleep. What type of Aveda is needed? So that's the Rebbe starts saying that what type of Aveda is needed in Imam Shechina Lamata. Hine beer kikshusam mervecham admur. Tchilas by America when when he first came to America. This is from a Maimer Achedesh. Fidik became Tes Adar. I think it was Adar Sheni, no? Tes Adar, Tafshin, Adar Sheni, Tafshin. So this is a Maimer from Achedesh, from Beis Nissen, Tafshin. Achedesh is Alachem. Chedesh Nissen, a couple of weeks. But Chila, Rebbe's Matish over here, but Chila's Bayal America. If you died to Moscow, you have a mimer that he said when he came to America. So Zakter that Nas. If you was married over there, the mimer, Shagam being in the Shvin Chavim, we speak about the idea of Kol Shvin Chavivin, Nikr Mailasage, even though the Lashon is that the Shvi is Chaviv. But with them alone, Zetman at the Rishon is something very special. Why? Shekolin Shvi, Shvi Rishon. If he has no relation to the Rishon, so call him by his name. Say Moshe Rabbeinu Chaviv. Seventh means that the first must have a certain quality. He's the seventh of the first. So bring them out good. Fika was Mavir over there. What's always the matter of Aram? The fact that you're calling him Shvi means that the first, the one that started the link, started this line, which is the seventh of that line, must have a certain quality. Anish Basruf Stem on the Zibiter.
You're also seventh to the second.
Good, but the seventh to the sixth, to the sixth, you're the sixth. You're not to the second, you're the sixth, not the seventh. Good, yeah, good. She said, so Beer is not Lazar Shaladishin, so Rafika was Mavir, the Mile of Avraham Navidas. Mile of Avraham is Aveda, the Shahis Avidas, and Mrs. Nevish. Avraham was listening to you, he was thrown into the Kipshana Aish, and he was ready to be, he was made, he was ready to be Aikedas Bnei. Avraham not Mrs. Nevish. Good, so that's a beautiful thing to say. Rabbi says, any mistake was that Fika was not. But Gnuget sich mit them. Avraham had Mrs. Nevish. Saying the Fika was speaking in America. People in America to tell them, they were saying like, hey, what? And the Fika was not mistaken with it. Well, if you want to be married to them, Taveras Hashem. Avraham had Mrs. Nevish. Well, what else? What do you have to add here? Fika was not. Is not. He doesn't satisfy himself with explaining the idea that Avraham had Mrs. Nevish. So Meisif, he adds more after Lucharein Zinigel Shom Lukufin. It's not to get to the Maimer with it. This Fika was Meisif with that flaw of Avraham. It's not to get to the Maimer. What's Fika Meisif? The Ephraim Mrs. Nevish. People just think about that. Avraham Mrs. Nevish is a different quality of Mrs. Nevish. He didn't look for Mrs. Nevish. He had no interest in coming to the level, to the ultimate level of being Mrs. Nevish. This is all a quote from the Maimer of Mrs. Nevish. That Rabbi Kiva said, "Gezucht Mrs. Nevish." Rabbi Kiva was a very high level, and he searched. His longing, his entire life was to get to a level that he should be totally self-sacrificing. He longed his whole life that he should lose the sense of self. Be mizbatel legamri tolukus. So Meir Gezach, gezucht mevatel sein sich mevish. Avraham Avinu didn't look for Mrs. Nevish. Avraham said, "Gezucht Mrs. Nevish." That means he wasn't looking for the achievement of Mrs. Nevish. He was looking to be mevatel himself, give himself away for the Eibishter. I wish to lose my mitzvahs, to lose my yeshes, to lose my mitzvahs. Mashiach Avraham. He wasn't thinking about Chalal Mesiris. He wasn't thinking about his levels. He was thinking about the Eibishter's name is not known in the world. I have to make sure his name is known. What type of levels and whether he's going to be bottle or not bottle, that wasn't what he was focused on. It wasn't about if he's going to be totally bottle or not. His point was the Eibishter should be known everywhere. Avraham is that every person in the universe should be aware that it's an Eibishter. That was his focus. If means if on the way he's not going to make a tzimis out of the Mesiris Nevish. If Rabbi went to Mesiris Nevish, he wouldn't make a big thing out of it now. Make sure that people should remember on the on his resume that he went to Mesiris Nevish. It's not as Indian. If he's Mesiris Nevish, so that's what the Fika was Meirich in that Maimer in Topshin. This is the Rebbe is continuing now. This is such a great matter. The idea that a person is not involved at all with himself, and his only focus is that the Eibishter's name should be mefarsim lukus ba'ilam, and what type of levels he gets to, the madrigas that he achieves is not relevant to him. He won't make a thing out of him. There's no emphasis on, there's no hadgosh on him. It's about the Eibishter's name being publicized. And it's such a great mile this Haveda. Even Meshav. The fact that he was there which is a made the Gezah, but to Mitam it traces back to Avraham Avinu somehow. It's Mitam Kashvil Chavim, Shvil Rish. Fakadish Baruch Hu Amar LeMeshav and Kimtel Maltam. You should know that Avraham Avinu has something unique, and you should be aware of it. So this is the Indian. Now that it's like this. Now that Rebbe is speaking more, this is already closer to the end of the first part of the Maimer. Every third Rebbe said Maimer 3 parts, but every part, the end was a shtickle ending. It wasn't like a finished off the Indian. So it's like this. I got the Shvi as a Grace Mile. Once the Kenish Uvgetan Ver, through Bchira and Aveda, you can't achieve it. It's beyond the reach of a person. In fact, it comes, the Eibishter gives it to you readily. It's told him. No one could say that this is beyond him. Maybe only certain people in the Rashvi have this smile. Maybe only Yechidis Golem in the Rashvi have this. And who said I got it? It's not like that. It's that every single person which is in there Shvi possesses the ability to have Shechina Lamatabar. That's the Rebbe saying here. It says in Medrash in Tanat Velio, move with Dach. It says Braton Chassidus, Shekol Yisrael, every Yid, Afilu Evet, Afilu Shivcha, even a Evet Knani, which is not the full Yid yet, Yichedem La'agil Asheras Ruach HaKodesh. Means anybody can get to the highest level of Asheras Ruach HaKodesh. V'chol Echad V'echad Mi'Yisrael Chayiv Leir Mas Yagir Ma'aseh L'Ma'aseh Avesa From Mitzvah Yaakov. So here the Rebbe is saying, the Rebbe is quoting Amar Chazal, not directly about this Inyan, but other aspect, that there's certain things that every person is able to get. But the Rebbe wants to bring it to look this Inyan, even though the Inyan of Shvi, you cannot accomplish through Aveda. These are Amar Chazal don't do it there Shvi. But even though there is nothing to do with Aveda, but if you're part of the Shvi, you have the ability to have Shechina Lamata. You have it mitzad Torah. You're part of the story. Out there, like Chazal say, that every year to get to the level of Ruach HaKodesh, every year you get to the level of Rabbi Yaakov. The Shemikomakim, Dartman is Zayin Genartazif. Even though we have major powers, there are Shvi, you have Meir the Kekeches, but you shouldn't be in the Wissen Zayin Tzarech Leadership Kim Delam Altam. It means you have to take major powers, but you have to know that the Rishain, which had Mesilas Nefesh, and which that's major quality. That means that you have major powers, but you have to be aware of that. Don't think that you're that they're a Rishain, those that had Mesilas Nefesh for that chase, but people that had Mesilas Nefesh and we're coming to say you don't have to fool yourself. So I don't know. This is a very, very strong. That if you're in Derech Shvi, you have special powers, which the earlier generations didn't have, but don't have to be a fool to think that ich bin aggressive has it. Those wissen sein that in kein Delam al Tamid. Don't be aware of the fact that that certain areas and certain nefesh Avraham you don't value yourself towards them. To learn from them, you have to take from them. You have to know they have a mile. Yeah.
If you were born rich.
Yeah. And that rich and kommt nicht zu Vasemen durchgegangen in a certain aspect. Now to remember the whole mile of Shvi is that he came as a seventh to the first. As I can durchführen, a vidus to the solution, that Tika Vayikra El Vayak. וזהו החביב השלישי. Was בשטח החביב שמם שכינה ולא שמם שחיקה שכינה. ADS שמם שבתחתינו. Main thing is that it brings down to the Shechina should be made in this world. והנה זה תב מכל אחד מאיתנו דרך השביעי. This here the Rebbe says clearly, we're not wegen uns. Dera Shvi from the Alter Rebbe. The Rebbe was the Rishim, was Namshach Lukus in Chabad, started bringing down the Lukus into the world. So the Rebbe says that Zetev Kol Echad Ve'echad Meitonu. The Rebbe said before that Dera Shvi shayach every single one in the generation, not only to Yichidis Gula. Dera Shvi, the Kol HaShvin Chavivin. The image is that Shanachna Dera Shvi. Leal B'Bchira Sein. No one chose to be part of this generation. Leal that we didn't achieve it through our Aveda. The Kamenon Efshishlik Fira Sein. We might be against our interest, our will. The Kol Mekim and Kol HaShvin Chavivin. The reality is that we're in the state of Shvi, we're in the state of Ikvas of the Mashiach, and in that itself is Yuma de Ikvas at the end of the last kufa, and the Aveda is to finish, the finishing touch. We're not in the middle of the Aveda, we're at the end. The end means we're in the state of Ligmar Shas Shchina, of Lerech Shchina, Kim Ika Shchina, over Tachtein Bach. Yeah. The Rebbe in every part of the Maimer at the end, the Rebbe says Vihini Zet Tevin. The Rebbe stopped coming upon, but always at the end it was Vihini Zet Tevin Kolech Adav Likar. I make a mistake. You'll see the Rebbe says come upon me Zetevim, but here the Rebbe says Zetevim kolech v'ech mitanu. Was man then von uns that we should, even though it's not through our Ratzon and through our Bechira, but man soll wissen vom Gefinzach. We're in there as Shvi, and that the job is, I'm sure, what's Mansach von uns is to be aware of the fact that we're in the Siyum of the Ikvasa and Avedes, Imam Shech Ikesh Chilalat.
Zion also.
There's another time. Yeah. The Rebbe says, what are we money? The Kol HaShivin Chavivin. What's Pshat Kol HaShivin Chavivin? That Aveda is, Imam Shech Shechino. The end of Zion is another time. The end of Zion is the second. I remember another time.